Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Today I have a shoe from Hoka. See, I'm even wearing the hat to represent that I'm running in a shoe from Hoka. It's the second version of a shoe that I really liked last year. In fact, I wore it pretty much all summer, but I had a couple issues with it that I'm hoping will be fixed in the second version. And that shoe is the Hoka One One Rincon 2. In theory, this should be a great shoe. It's lightweight, it's really cushioned. What was that?
Your phone thought you said, "Hey Siri."
Oh. And it's in a pretty good price point. So we're gonna lace these up, we're gonna go for a run, and then we're gonna talk all about the Rincon 2 and if any of those issues from the first version were fixed. Let's get the show on the road. Alright, I'm back from my run and now we're going to talk all about the Hoka One One Rincon 2. So like I said earlier, I also got a lot of mileage in the first Rincon right here. And I really liked this shoe. It's a nice middle ground between the Clifton, which is super plush and can get kind of heavy, and a more firm traditional tempo day shoe. It was one of my go-to shoes last summer. I absolutely loved running in it, but I did have some issues with it that I was hoping would be alleviated in the 2. So of course, I'll be making some comparisons to the 1 while we review the 2, but today we're gonna focus more on the second version of the Rincon. Before we get started today, I do wanna mention the Hoka One One Rincon 2 was sent to me by Running Warehouse. However, they're not gonna see this before you do. This is a 100% unbiased review. I'm shooting it straight, I'm telling it like it is. I'm not holding back. You get it, let's move on. As usual, let's start with the specs. The Rincon comes in at 6.5 ounces for a women's size 7 or an 8. It's not specified on the website. But for my size, 10.5 women's, it comes in at 7.88 ounces. So still really light. It does look like it gained a little bit of weight since the first version, but it's so slight. On Hoka's website, it says that a women's 7 or 8, again, it's not specified, is 6.3 ounces in the first version, and this is 6.5. So while I don't really like to see an increase in weight, it's really slight. You're probably never gonna feel it. It has a 5mm drop. For women, it's 26mm of stack in the heel and 21 in the forefoot. And for men, it's different. Apparently, it's 29mm of stack in the heel and 24 in the forefoot. I'm not sure why it's different for men and women, but fine. And I'm happy to report that the Hoka One One Rincon 2 is true to size. One of the big changes from the Rincon 1 to the 2 is the upper. Hoka is using an engineered sandwich mesh in the Rincon 2. Yes, you heard that right. I said sandwich. And this material feels a little more refined, a little bit sleeker than the first version's single layered mesh. Both the Rincon 1 and the Rincon 2 are very breathable. One could argue that maybe the 2 looks a little less breathable than the 1, but trust me, in one of my runs on the Rincon 2, it was pretty hot and I felt plenty of breathability. So don't worry, you're not losing any of that air passing through that a lot of people loved in the original Rincon. One thing I do want to point out, and it's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, is that the shape and sort of fit of the shoe has changed a bit for me. I found the Rincon 1 to be a little bit long in the toe area, and the Rincon 2 seems to have lost some of that length. The shoe feels a tiny bit shorter, which was good for me. It feels a little more true to size this way, and it overall just feels a little bit roomier. I much prefer the roomier feeling of the 2. While I do have a narrow foot, it just gives me a little more leeway. I did have to cinch the laces down a bit to get that fit that I wanted, but it's not an invasive feeling, which is an improvement. The laces on the Rincon 2 feel exactly the same as the first version, and so does the tongue. I did experience a little bit of heel slipping in the Rincon 2, which I didn't necessarily feel in the first version, and that might be because of the roomier feeling here, but that problem was completely fixed after just using the last loophole. Moving to the back of the shoe, the ankle collar does have some padding around here. Looks pretty much identical to the original version, and we have a fairly sturdy heel counter for a little bit of extra support. One of the famous things that the Rincon is known for is the oversized pull tab in the back of the shoe. You guys know I love a pull tab. I think it just makes it that much easier, and the Rincon's got the Mac Daddy of them. Overall, I am really digging this upper. I do love this sandwich mesh material that they're using. I didn't have any hot spots, blisters, issues like that, thank goodness, no problems. And it might be more accommodating for all different foot types. They changed it up, and they didn't ruin it. Moving on to the midsole of the Rincon 2, Hoka is using a full-length, full compression EVA material, and this seems to be exactly the same as the first version, which is a good thing in some cases, but a not so good thing in other cases. I love the original Rincon because I feel like that midsole foam is lightweight. It's soft while not being too soft. And when you want to pick up the pace in this shoe, it does so flawlessly. It doesn't necessarily have any pop because it's just regular EVA, but it still was able to get the job done. But this shoe's midsole died hella quick. And I think a lot of people who wore the Rincon would say the same. It feels like the midsole goes like this, sort of like a bucket seat. So because of that, I was really hoping in the Rincon 2 that they would sort of fix that foam a little bit, change it up. I didn't want them to put a completely new foam in there, but I was hoping they would do some minor tweaks to help it stay a little more durable. Judging by the fact that it's the same midsole foam and I haven't read anywhere that they've changed it, I have a feeling it's going to be the same case here. But other than that negative, it's still the same smooth ride. The Rincon 2 also has the revised early stage meta rocker, which helps to roll you forward in your stride. We love that. You can kind of see it here, curving upward. So when you're trying to pick up the pace, that meta rocker really does help out the foam, and it just feels nice and smooth and soft without making you feel like you're sinking into quicksand. The Rincon is a good starter shoe for people who want to try Maximal shoes, but don't necessarily want the intensely soft cushioning of the Clifton. This gives you max cush, it just gives you a little less of it. I still prefer it for steady miles and daily training, but because of that midsole lifespan, it makes it hard for the Rincon to stand the test of time. I'm hoping that won't be the case in the Rincon 2, but I am skeptical. If we turn the shoe over to the outsole, you will see a ton of exposed EVA with just a little bit of rubber in the forefoot and a little bit in the heel. One of the big things about the Rincon 1 that a lot of people complained about was also the outsole durability. And I'm kind of surprised to tell you that these two shoes are completely identical. So it kind of looks like they did nothing to fix that problem. At this point, I have about 15 miles in the Rincon 2, and there's some significant fraying. We have some on the lateral side here, and some in the midfoot. We're starting to get some on the medial side as well, which of course with exposed EVA foam, you're gonna see that. And some of this is cosmetic, but some of it's also going to degrade even more over time and make this shoe a lot less durable. I get what Hoka is trying to do here. They're trying to make this a step down from the Clifton, more lightweight, so they cut back on the rubber, which is fine. But even for a lightweight daily trainer, I think we need to see a little bit more rubber here. That's kind of been the big issue with the Rincon series, is its shelf life. If you're just buying this shoe and you don't have any other pairs of shoes and you're gonna use this as your daily mileage shoe, but because it's light, also use it on your tempo days, then that's great. It's a good shoe for that, but it's not going to last long. Don't get me wrong, I really like this shoe, and most times I would pick it up over the Clifton just because it's lighter. But I do always have in the back of my mind that you gotta keep a bunch of different shoes in your rotation with this shoe so that it lasts a little bit longer. The good news, however, is that the Rincon 2 is $114.95 on runningwarehouse.com. You can pre-order it now. I'll link it down below, which makes the lack of durability a little bit more understandable at that price point. You're not paying $150 for a beast of a shoe. You're paying $115 for a shoe that's more lightweight and might not last you as long. Not to mention, Running Warehouse also has the Rincon 1 on sale now, so I'll link that down below so you can get this at an even less price than $115. It is an affiliate link, which doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel, which I always appreciate. It keeps me going here. Don't get me wrong, guys. Despite the durability of these shoes, I do really like the Rincon. It's got the cush to go the distance, but also the weight and the roll forward that you need for faster days. Will it hold up better than the Rincon 1? We'll see. One thing is for sure, this is a gorgeous looking shoe. Well guys, that concludes my first run impressions of the Hoka One One Rincon 2. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can find out every time I upload a new video. I have another 2 videos for you guys. Did I say that? Two videos next week? Yeah, I did. I have 2 videos for you guys next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like heller. See you next time. Hoka is using an engineered sandwich. Hoka is using an engineered sandwich mesh. That is so hard to say. Hoka is using an engineered sandwich mesh.